In this lesson, we're going to look at proportions, and in our key terms, the first one, two numbers are proportional if they have the same ratio. The second one, a blank is an equation which states that two ratios are equal. That is a proportion. And in the equation, 5/8 equals 10/16, we call 5 times 16 and 8 times 10 cross products. And cross products because they are diagonal from one another. We're going to use that idea to see if two ratios are proportional. So here in the first problem, if we rewrite these as 8 to 12 and 12 to 18, we are asked, are the two pairs of numbers proportional? So the big question is, are they equal to one another? So what we have to do is look at their cross products. So if we look at cross products, that would be 12 times 12, which would be 144. And that would be 8 times 18. Now, I'm not as familiar with that, so I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. That is also 144. So since my cross products are equal, then my ratios of 8/12 and 12 to 18, they are proportional. So maybe instead of writing proportional, probably the easiest way would just be to say yes. They are proportional, primarily because their cross products are equal to one another. So let's look at another one. How about this one down here, number 7? It's got fractions in it, and we tend to be a little scared of fractions, but we don't need to be. So if we look at 7, 4.5 to 8, so if we rewrite that, it would be 4.5 being compared to 8. And that looks really weird to have a fraction inside of a fraction, but that's okay. My second ratio would be 11 1/4 being compared to 20. So if we look at our cross products, and I'm going to do 8 times 11 1/4 in my calculator. That actually gives me 90. And if I take 4.5 times 20, I also get 90. So yes, these two ratios also form a proportion. So what happens if, like in these problems, one of the pieces is missing and we have to find the missing piece to make sure that they are a proportion? We can use the idea of cross products to help us solve proportions. So if I'm doing cross products, I have to go 8x equals, because remember cross products are equal to one another, 15. Well, how do I solve the little equation of 8x equals 15? Well, I have to divide both sides by 8. So my 8's cancel, and I am left with x on the left and 15/8 on the right. If I divide 15 divided by 8, it's not going to go in evenly, and I probably don't want a decimal. You probably want to pay attention to the directions. This doesn't specify, so I'm just going to leave it, my answer, as a fraction in fraction notation. Sometimes they'll specify round to the nearest hundredth, which if you see that, then you know that you can put it as a decimal. Or they might say write as a mixed numeral, so I could have rewritten this as a mixed numeral. But because it doesn't state it, I'm just going to leave it 15/8. Again, I took my cross products, which were 8x and 15, set them equal to each other, and then solved my mini equation. So let's try this next one. Again, I'm going to do cross products. 10 times 45 is 450. 18 times x is 18x. Then I have to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 18. That's going to give me 450. I'm going to go ahead and see if it divides out. 450 divided by 18, and it does divide evenly. I get 25 on the left, and on the right, my 18s cancel, and I have just x. So x equals 25, or 25 equals x. We more commonly write it, though, x equals 25. So you can use the idea of cross products to help you solve proportions and to find missing pieces.